Hello, hello, my friends. Hmm. What am I thinking as the start of today? Let's grab something easy. Grab the big boy.
The world! It's mine for the taking!
Definitely looking to be a bit of a boring soul on this one with a Cthulhu Chalk matchup. Not exactly one of the funny matchups. Hey, Nea, what's up, man? I don't know, I kind of like the Cthulhu build I already have, though. I'm not sure I want to change it. It works so well. I guess Warlocks might not change it that much. So I guess it depends on the build. Okay, they have a lot of physical here. Yeah, Warlocks, Breastplate Phoenix. I think, especially looking at next patch, I feel like Curse Weaver is gonna be a big must on someone like Cthulhu. I can't believe they're buffing the item. Yeah, Breastplate Phoenix, Prophetic. Wouldn't you say that, what's it called? Damn it, what's it called? Pridwin. Wouldn't Pridwin be worth it over something like Breastplate? Is it just because you want early CD, I guess?
Why settle for less when we can be whoever we choose?
Because this start is pretty much the same. That's what I would normally do. Like, I would just do this anyway, with Curse Weaver. I can do Warlocks instead.
Okay, this thingamabob better do its job.
Chalk. No, I don't want to do Thorns on Cthulhu. Yeah, Breastplate or Phoenix. Yeah, I'm 100%. I'm definitely gonna have an extra. Like, I might even have both. Who's texting me? Go away. Because what? They have... Like, normally I would have a... I don't think I really go Void Doom armor much anymore, but I would normally have an Onis, which I don't think I'm gonna do in this game, obviously. I do want some kind of protection, just so Ares doesn't screw me up in mid-game. team fights, so maybe like a half. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, maybe I don't need it. I'm not sure. It depends on what Ares builds, I guess. Yeah, you do Sigil, Prophetic Breastplate, Pestilence, Shifters, and last one your choice. Yeah, you won't need it with Sigil. Well, it depends on the thing is, I'm doing the other Sigil though. I'm doing this one. I guess you're right though. This still gives a lot of protection. But that still doesn't come online for a while. That's a level 20 thing.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
Enemy missing! May the odds be in your favor.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
He's very passive.
Enemy
Enemies in the
missing!
left lane. Be careful left. Be careful left. Enemies in the left lane. Be careful left.
Join me or be crushed.
End of my party! Be right back.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
Out of the fire and into the frying pan. Wait, that's not right. Okay, so maybe a little soft.
If I have thorns, it would be dead.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
Your left tower is under attack.
Attack! You call this sharp? This is duller than you. Enemies incoming.
Ultimate is ready.
Join me or be crushed.
Enemy has been slain.
Well, I pressed the wrong thing, I guess. Didn't mean to cancel my ult, but whatever. Dude, what did I even press? How do you even cancel the ult? Dude, just press 4 again? The fuck? That's not what I wanted to do. Whatever.
I'm enjoying myself.
Don't think I've ever done that before.
Reckon you know somewhere?
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Join me or be crushed.
Enemy spotted.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
Oh, you right click? Oh. I guess I probably clicked it in the confusion there.
Completed.
Enemy ultimate down. May they be damned to the depths of
What?
Tartarus.
No
I'm
way!
enjoying myself too much.
Be right back.
Be right back.
Starting to believe some people live in this chat. That'd be great.
Join me.
What's up, Angus? Always good to see you.
I'm enjoying myself.
You're gonna just pass away like that? Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
Yeah, you're all right.
Good job.
I guess.
Do not thank me.
Join me.
Enemy missing.
Enemy missing. Be careful, middle.
Not
I'm
pathetic
enjoying
after all.
myself. Yeah. Really be damned to the depths of Tartarus. Join me. Or be crushed.
Enemy missing.
You can't give me. I mean, I think it is his best skin. I just have kind of a strange bias with. I don't like the TF5 skins because they change the characters a bit too much in terms of animations. Because like, I'm not like in terms of pure visuals. Most of the TF5 skins are the best skins. It's just I don't like how they change the characters too much. Like you can barely recognize some of them. But I do think most of them are good skins.
Attack middle lane.
Like they're obviously very, very cool visually. I generally think Hyris do a very good job with skins for the most part.
Join me. Or be crushed.
You unfortunate
Not my
soul.
fault.
Oof. No, give me the XP. No, I lost the XP for that one. Why? I can't believe I was out of range. How?
is in place. I'm enjoying myself.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Join me. Or be crushed. I'm enjoying myself too much.
On my way.
Yeah, I think we had like a small conversation yesterday about it as well. Like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, I think in general just has better boss design. Like overall, no, not just like just the bosses, but like hitboxes as well. Just everything. I agree.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
You must have choking on the meatball.
Enemy missing!
I am sick!
May the odds be in your favor. Enemy looking for shadow!
Damn. Okay. That man two-shotted.
Join me. Or be crushed. I'm enjoying myself too much.
An enemy has been slain.
Help!
On my way.
Join me. Or be crushed. On my way. I'm enjoying myself too much.
Wow! You must have
Do
choking.
you do this? Thanks.
I am sick!
Your right tower is under attack.
I think the quality of life things in Elden Ring is what makes it more fun. To be honest.
Be right back. May the odds be in your favor.
Your left tower is under attack.
But that's about
You
it.
say this makes my tentacles look big?
I hope they keep those quality of life things. Like, I was actually sad. I was legitimately incredibly sad when they didn't put the boss gauntlet from Sekiro into Elden Ring. I feel like it's a crime. You finally made a boss gauntlet just to replay bosses, and you didn't put it in your next game? Bro, come on. Are you kidding me, dude? I just want to play some bosses sometimes.
Sorry. Be right back. Be right back. Be careful. Mwah! Compliments to the chef. An enemy has been slain.
I'm enjoying myself.
Speaking of other games though, like at the moment I'm playing through Doom Eternal for the first time. It's a lot of fucking fun. It's a good game.
Your left tower is under attack. Your middle tower is under attack.
Played the original. I mean like just Doom, like 2016. Yeah, I played one first. Also for the first time recently.
Very far, did it?
Not my fault.
Please accept my apologies. Even villains need to watch their backs.
I still think a boss rush with a set like level could still make sense. Like you can just make it a separate mode like they did in Sekiro. And it makes even more sense now that they have made the Shadow Tree fragment system. Even if you couldn't do it for the base game, you were able, like they had the system to do it in the DLC. You can just scale that properly. Not to mention, it's not like it was there on release for Sekiro. They could just make a separate mode for it and just tune the bosses to a specific thing as well in the new one. I think there's a few things they could do. It might be difficult. I see your point, but I think they could have made it if they really wanted to.
Defend middle lane.
I'm enjoying myself. Wanna go somewhere?
Cancel that.
Join me.
Okay.
Enemy missing.
Be careful left. Enemy spotted. Enemies in the left lane. Help left lane. Help left lane.
I'm enjoying myself.
Your left tower is under attack.
Can you do that?
Your left. You think you gonna just pass away like that?
On my way.
Your middle tower is under attack.
I'm enjoying myself. Thank you very much.
Compliments to the chef.
Damn. We just weren't able to fight that, I guess.
That was a
That's disappointing.
double kill.
That is really disappointing. Right, what was the next one you said? I guess I can just do Phoenix as well, because I don't have to do anything else here. So I can just go Phoenix too. Thorns is obvious. Spirit Rope and the Curse River, okay. Yeah, in this case, I normally probably wouldn't go Phoenix, and then go for Onis or something instead. If they had magical, but not really worth it here.
Ultimate is ready.
That is unfortunate.
I'm enjoying myself.
Attack fire giant.
Can you do this? Be right back. Join me.
Enemy missing middle. Be careful left. An ally has been slain. We need wards.
I'm enjoying myself. Join me. I'm enjoying myself.
I'm so much cooler already.
Even villains need to watch their back.
I'm gonna give this rotation a shot.
Enemies in the middle lane.
Attack!
Enemy ultimate down.
I'm enjoying myself. Hit him with that secret sauce.
Gank! Gank, middle lane! Attack!
Random trap. Assault's back up. Okay.
I'm enjoying myself.
I'm dead. I don't know how it didn't kill them in mid. I don't understand. We literally have two people tanking the tower for all the carries and we're just running around with full HP. Yikes. I'm not sure how that happened.
Enemy spotted.
It's good TP. The voice actor for the Herc skin? I don't think there is an actor for the Herc skin that I know of. I don't think I know any of the Herc voice actors, to be honest.
You unfortunate soul.
I only know the meme Hercules guy. The guy who goes disappointed.
Ultimate is ready.
On my way.
I'm enjoying myself.
Artemis might be coming. I'm just gonna get out.
An outfit for any occasion.
You unfortunate soul.
I believe like the thing is, I do like voice acting in general. I have noticed some voice actors I really enjoy in Smite. Like one of them is J. Michael Tatum, who is I mean, there's a bunch of big roles, both in anime and in games. And in Smite, he has the Knight Ao Kuang skin. He's also the Wukong, like the green Wukong skin. I use both of those skins for that reason, because I love J. Michael Tatum. Like he's Irwin in Attack on Titan, for example. Very known role at this point. He's an absolute legend, that man. It's very good. We did get it, but
Dio mio, this dish is overcooked. Bro, keeping up.
Enemy team has destroyed the pirate.
Enemies in the middle lane. Enemies in the middle lane. Ultimate is ready.
with this build now, do you go for which sigil do you go for? You go for old guard or infused? I assume infused, but tank one. Okay, so old guard then. Yeah, I'm saving my gold for it. I'm gonna see if I can get 20.
Your left tower is under attack.
You unfortunate soul. An enemy has been slain.
Taking too much poke.
Be right back!
Mamma mia, not again! Wow! He must have choked on the meatball. An enemy has been slain.
I'm enjoying myself too much.
You're gonna just pass away like that?
On my way.
Defend, defend, defend.
Your left
Call
piece
this
is
shot.
under attack.
This is duller than you.
Your left piece has been destroyed.
With my ult, I can't really try to chase that.
Your Titan is under attack.
Defend
Defend lane. I'm enjoying myself.
Mercury's chasing too much. What is COC? Is there even any benefit to joining clans in Smite? Or is it just like for the tag? Oh, Clash of Clans. No, I don't. I don't. I guess me asking that is kind of the answer. Oof.
On my way. Attack middle lane.
I need Curse Reaver fast. I need the damage.
I'm enjoying myself.
Defend left lane.
I'm enjoying myself.
Go in, team! What are we waiting for? Dude, I don't understand what we're waiting for. I am running them down and they're taking so much damage. What are we what are we waiting for? I can't do it anymore. I'm trying. Damn, dude. Oh, the only one who ever went in was Mercury. We have two ADCs and they're not really running in, it feels like. Go in. Please.
Retreat middle lane.
Group up!
Yes, group up.
Ward the fire giant.
A perfect
We
weapon for a
need
villain.
I'll grab some normal stuff here. They might just be on fire. They probably are. Oh, two of them in mid.
Ultimate is ready.
On my way. Even villains need to watch their back.
Let's just remove some of that wave.
Be right back.
Enemy team has destroyed the pyramid. Behind us.
Be right back.
If I die, we're fucked.
Be right back. Be right back.
That is mild though.
Defend left lane.
At least I have TP in this one. If we lose left Phoenix, this is gonna suck ass though.
Dynamite. Grab all of it. Explosives make everything better.
Of course.
Ward here.
Yeah, I'm going with an AOS build at the moment. I usually build something quite well, a bit different, like 2 item difference.
I'll defend. I'll defend left lane.
Okay.
No problem. I'll
Be
defend the
careful.
fire giant.
We
I will
need
ward.
wards.
Be careful, right?
Ultimate is ready.
Ultimate is ready.
An enemy has
Yeah, no. We're probably not winning this one either way. It's just nothing is happening.
Enemy spotted.
It just literally feels like we don't have any damage.
End of line.
Which is weird, because we have Chiron.
Ally has been slain. You are
Chiron in general just fucks up someone squishy, but... Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't get it.
Your right
On my
Phoenix
way.
is under
Ultimate
attack.
is down. I'll attack.
Your left Phoenix is under attack.
Yeah, I can probably sell Spirit Row for Marty if I get the chance to.
Has been destroyed.
sorry.
Well, not for Marty, but
Has been destroyed.
for both of their ADCs, I guess. Alright, let's get some a kill here. Alright. Just one of them. One of them would be nice. Oh, alright.
Mamma mia,
Never mind.
not again. The fresh meat has been tenderized.
They just heal too much. I should have had anti-healing, I guess. Yeah, whatever. He just out-healed me by just attacking me. Do we even have any anti-healing? We don't. I don't know when I ask. I'm gonna get it thrown back. Charybdis has, yeah, with chins as the, or Executioner is the only thing. I do also feel like they were a lot more stacked than we were. Like Ragnar Hyukai, and I don't know who Arturia is, but it's an old, I believe. Unfortunate. Yeah, it's not in full build. Yeah. Oof. Rough beginning. Yeah, I mean, there's also, I suppose... I think it's hard to deal with like a good Ares if you're playing Karen, but there was definitely a support diff as well. Some really good Ares ults in this game. Yeah, actually, what was he buying? I'm curious now. Oboe? Bro, how did he not finish his build when he went Oboe? Oboe is so fucking cheap. Like cheap. Eh. Like essentially two somewhat expensive items, but dude, what? Alright. Karen with Kusari though, why? Why? Why though? This is also one of those cases where Mercury could probably have had like one defense item, just as a like anti-physical item. I'm not really sure what went wrong there. I mean, I do know, but I feel like it shouldn't have gone that wrong. Damn it, where was I? Yeah, I went back to Super Meat Boy. Jesus Christ. It used to be my my Q game, and then I couldn't find a new Q game, so I went back to this one. There was a lag of Meat Boy before the match. Oh, I think I did this yesterday, right? I forgot where I was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did this. I did. Fuck, I forgot where it was. Was it this one? No, this was the really easy one, wasn't it? Yeah, what the fuck? It's not this one. Oh, phew, I almost missed the cue. I got distracted. I did. Wait, was it this one? Maybe it was this one I was on. No, I did this one. Alright. I'll focus on the bands first. Yeah, you can clear a game and start from 0. I just didn't really feel I need to. Like, I kind of wanted to keep my experience. I'm hunting for the bandages, because you can't fucking see them anywhere. I was looking for the bandages just to have some kind of goal. So I can unlock some characters. But I'm still kind of on the lookout for a new Q game. I don't really know what to play.
Your god.
Hmm. I'm kind of tempted to ban Artemis. It would be a waste of a ban, I feel like, because she's so easy to deal with as a frontline. At least if it's someone like Cthulhu. I'm just tired of people getting smacked by it. Hmm.
Select your god.
First pick again, though. I hate first picking my solo. Am I doing Cthulhu again? No. I don't want to do Cthulhu again. It feels too tryhard to do Cthulhu twice in a row. But I do for some reason feel like I'm in a Guardian mood, so we'll stick to Cerberus instead. Damn it, I actually just went to the same map. I definitely didn't do this one. Where the bandages at, though? Where bandages? Damn it, dude. I feel like it's something you probably have to Google unless you're very thorough in your exploration, because, how else am I supposed to find them, huh? Whoops. Damn it. Damn it. I'll get past you. Don't you worry. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna rush it. Got okay. Now I'm just inting. I'm practicing for the smite game here. More guns. Yes. Uh-oh. I'm tilting. Dude. Oh, wait. Is someone dodge? Oh, man. Oh, well. Oh, my God. Get up. Oh. Wait. What's the key for? Wait a minute. I do have a bandage from this level, from what I can tell, though. So I guess I might have already gotten... Oh yeah, there was supposed to be a bandage behind this, I guess. I see. Sniping? Hmm. Yeah, don't you? Whoops. Whoopsie. Oh shit, it's this. Oh, I already did this one. Yeah, go away. I did this a few streams ago. Um, so I'm still missing 4 bandages somewhere in here. It's too many, man. This one I'm missing a lot, so this might be easier to find. I'm sure there's some maps where I just looked at the bandage and I was like, hell nah, I'm not going for that shit. Hopefully there's just one around here. Alright. Didn't see any bandage, I'll tell you that. On this map I have one. Maybe I just need to accept that I have to Google where these damn bandages are, just so I know which map. It would be much easier if I knew which map they would be on. What? Oh. Close. At least I would know which map I could just explore, I guess.
Pick your god.
The worst part about actually winning now and having somewhat high elo is that I'm always first pick, and I hate being
Your
first pick.
god.
It's the worst. I don't want to first pick. I can't. At some point, I just shouldn't care, right? Just play whatever you want, but I want to be high elo so that I can get into the better games. You know? And to keep being in the higher games, I kind of need to try and win the games. Because I would love to play more assassins in solo. It's just that the problem is assassins tend to not be very good in solo. Only really a select few are actually somewhat decent in solo. It's just really hard to pull off. Warriors just too good. Or Guardians. Base tankiness just too damn good. Not the lava ball. That's my own fault. I saw that coming from a mile away. Shoot, your ball. Oh shit. I thought I was landing on the edge. Whoops. Hey Seagull, what's up, man? Good to see you. Damn it. Stem lava balls. Whoops. No, dude. Why didn't you grab the wall? Damn meat man. What? What killed me? I don't even know what happened. Oh, so you have like multiple paths here? Why would anyone take the other path? That one is just way easier. Though I guess there might have been a bandage. I believe I did this one. Dude, where is the bandages? They're hiding. I know some of them are very obscure. This one I did as well. You know what? Fuck it. I don't want to look for bandages. I'm just gonna play the fun levels instead. I'll just play the levels. This one I also did. Give me the bosses. Sorry, I also didn't show my game here. Don't worry, I wasn't doing anything anyway. Just looking for bandages. To no avail.
There is no weapon more fine than that which I already wield.
What am I against? Fenrir? Rat? Is this the rat game? I'm gonna do this instead. I'm still practicing Searcher. I'm still really bad at him. But he is pretty fun to play. Actually, out of curiosity as well, do people use Discord to tweet out when they stream? Is that something people do these days? I'm still very old-minded. I don't have a Discord channel. I do have a Discord, it's just usually only for private stuff. Like private contacts. Team's big. Oh no. What about Mumble? We're doing Mumble? Unfortunate. Wait, you don't know Mumble? Damn. What about Skype? Oh, I completely missed that.
No worries, mate.
Junglers, junglers, junglers. Skype is good and all. It was for a little while, then it became completely infested with scamming and all sorts of other things that we don't really need to talk about. It became very unsafe. Just get me level 5, man. Get me level 5. There we go. Damn, he missed all. At least I think it did. If it didn't, it just didn't do any fucking damage, I guess.
Enemy spotted. Enemy ultimate down. Attack.
Maybe I should have leveled my 1 in this case. Because I'll pretty much only be using my 2 as like a stopper for his brutalize. Should be leveling my 3 or my 1. Kinda late now. Of fucking course he is. Of fucking course. Dude! Go away, dude! I'm warding. Fucking Chokai.
No worries, mate.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. It would be fine if my ult was up, but it was actually just down still.
On my way. Attack left wing.
Where's the rat though? That's the big question.
Will it be able to withstand my burning flesh?
Your left tower is under triple kill.
Dude, it's not looking too hot in this game, is it? 6-0 Raijin. Though I guess that what happens when you pick Ra into Raijin.
Party forward. Buon appetito.
The light burns away the shadows.
Enemy spotted. On my way. Gank. No worries, mate.
Why did they go out?
Dio mio, this dish is overcooked.
Why? Oh. Well. I feel like we could have just killed Rat as well when he landed back down. People ran back out. Whatever. Curious. I did ult too late, but I also didn't see Raijin around.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Should have expected it considering Ra was there. Fucker.
No, you must be fibbing. On my way. Pasta away like that. An enemy has been slain. Maybe a little. Nice job. Oh. Nice job.
Very good job. Looks like they picked it back up on the other side.
Mighty in
For this game, I'm gonna grab Contagion. They have a decent amount of healing in that team.
Muspelheim.
On my way. Follow me. Gank.
Fenrir seems to be building a lot of damage as well. Well, he might go into more damage.
Has been slain. Enemy ultimate incoming.
I'm grabbing beats this game. My main reason for not wanting to go TP in this because I really want thorns, but I probably also need beats. I can't be asked to get Fenrir bitten every time it's off cooldown. It's just gonna be a pain in the butt.
On my way.
I'll chase.
None shall escape my
Long and hard. I'll just grab tower, I guess. Yeah, the low cooldown is really kind of online at this point. It's kind of nice. I get my 1-up so often now. Almost feels unfair.
Mamma mia, not again.
Hey VSP, what's up, man? Unfortunate. That's what beats.
Worries, mate. Your team has destroyed a left enemy tower. An enemy has been slain. Enemy ultimate down. Looking on the meatball.
I was hoping my 3 with damage was gonna be enough. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to smack him in time. Dude, come on, you shitty thing. You shitting.
mighty indeed.
Bronies.
Fires of
Got some warts. Hey, Boom, what's up, man? Not that much. Hope the games have been a bit more stable today. Last one was kind of a big oof. Solo went very well, but the rest of my team not so much. It felt like we had no damage that game. So no matter how much I did in the team fight playing Cthulhu, it just didn't matter at all. The fuck?
Enemy missing right. Okay, so maybe your middle tower is under attack. Mamma mia, not again.
ever bright.
Be careful, left.
The light burns away the shadows.
Your middle tower is under attack. All attack. Spicy meatball.
That works out well, very well for me.
Withstand
My cooldowns, like his jump and brutalize, do damage, but with my little amount of healing as well as my one probably does a lot more damage than what he can throw out, to be honest.
Compliments to the chef. Wow, you must have choked on the meatball.
I need 20. So it's actually fun. Searcher is very fun, yeah. That's also why I wanted to practice him a bit, because I'm just bad at him. I just haven't played him enough. And I would still classify myself as being bad at him. Like, for the simple reason that I don't react on instinct. I don't.
Mamma mia, not again.
Okay. Oh well. Was hoping we could just get the tower, but weren't really in position to do that.
Follow me.
Jesus Christ, man. Or, of course he ganks the second my vision is gone. My worst just went down. That sucks, man. I'm just trying to get 20. Yeah, the mouse I was bitter about the buff? Yeah. I was lucky, I didn't even go for it. Aww. That beam didn't hit a single person.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef. Enemies at the fire giant. Oh, you must be fibbing.
They're only on small. They're on pyro. We should be fine.
Oh, you must be fibbing. On my way. All attack.
none shall escape my grasp.
Enemy missing.
Give me 20, please. I need 20 before the next fight. I gotta finish my start. I'm holding on to so much gold. Okay, Rat's mid. I'm safe.
An enemy has been slain.
Purpose.
Alright, I'm ready, boys. On my way.
Will be none that can stop me.
On my way. Tactical fury.
What? The knockback, bro. He's so fast. Why is this Sylvanas so fast? His regrowth. Makes sense.
Have fun! Hi. Kick in the bucket.
Bathe in the glow. I'll defend right. Your team
Enemy spotted.
be right.
Mighty indeed.
Okay.
Is it forged in the fires?
Let's
Behind.
get going now. Full build. Ready to smack.
An enemy has been slain.
Damn. Lance damage.
Attack, fire giant.
I just hope gods get added more frequently than they have been so far, to be honest.
Down upon you. Be right back. That's a lesson tough yet young.
No worries, mate.
I was hoping to get something out of Raijin, because I used everything, but unfortunate.
Your team has just
Didn't even get an ultimate.
enemy tower.
He just kept running. Obviously, the one I want the most is pretty clear. I want Vamana, right? Big surprise, who would have thunk? The Gamehunter guy, he wants Vamana to be in the game? That's crazy. Like some of my other favorites are Apollo, Hebo,
An enemy has been slain.
those types of gods. Dude, I was knocked back in. It's not a bad fight. Oh, now it is. Well, that's not good. Well, me and Lance should be able to defend whatever happens, but still. Awkward and unnecessary, and I take all the blame. Or me and Lance, just stupid there. We could have just ended, but... Oops. Yeah, I mean, they already added Thanatos now. Might as well just add Thor. Let's just add all the half-global ultimates. Why not Rat as well? All of them.
None shall escape my grasp.
Ah, he got my thing. Motherfucker, he's too tanky now. What in the fuck happened in mid? I do not understand. I don't understand. Okay. I tried to loop around and met Fenrir, and after everyone died, I just decided to fight Fenrir, because at least that means they're missing a person. But fuck me, dude. Didn't actually think I was going to lose the trade. Definitely not focusing Fenrir from now on, I'll tell you that. I gotta focus one of the carries, because I can kill them so easily. They might also be able to kill me easily at this point, though.
Everything has its use.
An ally has been slain. Save yourself!
That is a free fire for them.
The light burns away the shadows.
I don't know why Rye's even here.
You think you can just pass away like that?
Well, I mean, I know why. He wants to steal, but now we can't do anything about this. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. Can't do anything about it.
my way. An enemy has been.
I tried. We had vision on it.
This is overcooked.
Unfortunate, man. Was it good? I should have pre-beatsed the Silver Ultimate. I should have just pre-beatsed in general to make sure I didn't get CC'd. Oh no. He just missed everything. Literally everything. Yeah, our lack of grouping at the moment is our downfall. We're just dying alone.
Kindling for the flame.
Bathe in the glow.
The enemy team has destroyed the Gold Fury.
Bathe in the glow.
Your left tower is under attack. Your left tower has been destroyed.
None shall escape my grasp.
Your left Phoenix is under attack.
The glow.
Your right Phoenix is under attack.
My little eye of the sky.
Your right Phoenix. Your Titan is under attack.
The glow. On my way.
Fucking chasing this. I'm not. I can't. Okay. Jesus Christ. Why even be a tank anymore? You're definitely not tanky. God damn. But yeah. I can't believe they're all back already, man. Fuck. I don't even think it was him in this one. No, it wasn't. It was kind of just a bit of everything. No one did an absurd amount of damage, it was just everyone. But yeah, no, I think like somewhat easy analyzation of why we lost this game. Ra is incredibly unreliable to deal damage. I don't think it was just on the Ra, but I do think if we also grouped a bit more, like people were doing stupid shit. Like I take a bit of the blame on this one too. Me and Lance literally threw this game by dying in the fountain. It was really fucking stupid. We legitimately could have just ended right then and there, but we were stupid. So I take some blame for this one as well. Me and Lance were just stupid. And right there is why you should never do that stuff. Also, usually 15 is pretty high, but what the fuck is this? How is our support only having one ward? I'm so disappointed. I refuse to believe people who don't ward want to win. There's no way. I don't think we're hitting Grandmasters today, boys. Not at this rate. 2 losses now? Shit. Bad start. Hmm. Not really much to do about it. Yeah, at least you can be masters with 1.6, that's true. I don't want to, though, if I can avoid it. I would like to avoid that very much. I mean, I don't know where these fucking bandages are, man. How are there, like, okay, I'm actually gonna Google this. Hmm. I'll just do the last maps, I think. At least I know I haven't done those. I need to look for a new Q game, man. Yeah, I don't have any bandages in this one, really. So if I see one, I can try to go for it. But I'm pretty sure I did these maps too, actually, on stream recently. When I got back into the game. Yeah, at least 1.5 you can probably Q snipe. I don't know, you probably do it higher than that, I believe. Because don't just start at 1500. I believe in the Bengus. Pull out the spice. Smack some booties. You'll be there in no time. Oh no. Demoted to support. Fucking oof, guys. Fucking oof.
Pick your god.
What I noticed when I leveled my ult again, to get where I am now, is that the problem with lower elo games is that people don't know how to end the game. People are simply bad at knowing when to do objectives. No one ever called for fire, no one ever really wanted to try gold. And when they did, there was just no basis for doing it. It was literally just go gold. We don't have any vision. We don't know what the fuck they are. Just whatever, call something. It never felt like there was any thought behind it. It was just do it. It was very strange. I definitely found some of the games very hard to end when I was trying to get my ult up. Especially if I was playing like a support-ish role. Because then I kind of rely on the carries to do the heavy lifting in terms of killing objectives. It was tough.
Select your god.
We kind of want some damage, I guess. So I'll do Cerberus. Make sure we have some kind of magic. Yeah, I actually did this map on stream last time, I think. No. Which really means I need a no Q game badly. Fuck, I don't even know where to look. So yeah, if anyone like knows a good Q game, I'm very down to take a look at it. No. I don't know what to build, to be honest. I might do Prophetic first? Nah. I'll go for kind of an older... Well, I guess new but old build here.
Have fun.
I kind of feel that way sometimes too, Bengus. I still do, for some reason. Like, legitimately. It's very strange how I feel sometimes just queuing ranked. Sometimes I get nervous just queuing ranked. I'm very antisocial. It's very strange how it feels sometimes. If I'm in like on a low mood, like on some, excuse me, on some days, even just queuing rank kind of brings my mood down a bit.
have the nose of a bloodhound.
He instantly got my one. I am at 2. I don't fucking believe it. I should have just waited. That was just stupid. I know he's gonna use his 2.
Enemy spotted.
Return to base.
I'm not landing my good stuff right now.
Treat left lane. Cancel that.
Middle lane. Attack right lane.
Be careful.
I got the small ones. I'll take it.
Okay. Okay.
Don't know why Susano had to take that. Now we might be behind in XP a little bit. Or at least Neith won't be, but I will be. Yeah, Cerberus is very strong. Man, I'm not getting 5 of any of this shit.
Gank right lane.
Enemy missing left.
An ally has been slain. You aided. An enemy has been slain. Mama will not be happy.
I'm just trying to get some fucking farm, but no one's... The farm I lost earlier was really fucking stupid. That was really, really silly. All on Susano's.
Wow, he must have choked on the meatball. Mamma mia, not again.
Let me guess. That's no wave.
handsome pupper. I'm a good watchdog. I'm a good boy.
Enemies have returned to base.
Attack, fire giant.
On my way.
Surging poison.
Be right back. Be careful left.
The venom.
Get him, Chewie!
Westwind close indeed.
Not gonna just pass away like that. Your left tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
Enemy spotted!
I'll keep chasing.
Chase the enemy. Great, just wonderful.
He's missing. I can't see him anymore.
Get on the meat.
Enemy missing!
Your left tower is under attack. Okay, soft. Maybe a little soft bit hurts.
Retreat.
Dealt with you.
I just need some farm at this point. Otherwise, I'm just gonna fall too far behind.
Oh, trees!
The face of terror itself.
Your left tower is under attack.
Unfortunate, Alcon showed up. Cerberus is definitely strange. Like, his ult is, for a lot of characters, just very easy to counter. There's so much natural, like, knockup immune on so many gods. I don't have anything.
Ultimate is down. We are all monsters. shadows of a bloodhound. On my way.
Ultimate is ready. Ally has been slain.
I'm a getter! Out of mana.
Under attack.
Constant mana problems.
You're not again.
My migraine ruin.
It hurts.
Should have banned Alquang. The one time I let Alquang go through, this happens. This is why I always ban Alquang.
Horrifying.
Your right tower. Double kill.
Enemies incoming left.
Are they going gold though? No.
I'm a good watchdog. I'm a good boy. Get me. I'm
Your middle tower is under attack. Your right tower is under attack.
Retreat left lane.
Unfortunate. Just looking to see if I can get something else, because Gep is on the right side. But I don't really feel like anything's happening.
Been slain.
Can't speak.
Bon appetit.
Thanks.
Wow. He must have joking on the meatball.
Enemies incoming left.
Your left tower has been destroyed. Pass away like that?
This is one of the really awkward support games where, like, nothing's happening. Like, everyone is losing, and I can't really do anything about it as a support. Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? I can't do anything about this. I can only try to make something happen, like what we did with Gep. But, like, I can't fucking defend you from an Alquang, man. He doesn't give a fuck about me. Let's just grab a bunch of wards.
Enemies at the gold yurt.
We also have 2 ability-based hunters. Like,
That's too bad.
should have just done it. Didn't want to deny more XP to my mid, but
An ally has been slain.
Mess with those indeed.
we're just not really making anything happen. I don't see anything happen on any side.
An enemy has been slain.
Retreat.
Scrap. Blink. I don't think this is an unwinnable game, but I do wish I wasn't playing support in this game. Yeah, the team doesn't have the mentality, but I'll just leave my vote unvoted. If everyone like they can surrender if they want to. I'll be here if they want. I'll surrender if they want to. I'll be filler. I'll be surrender filler. Like it would be different from me if my team wanted to surrender, but I was like a fed, like a fed Cthulhu in solo. Then sure. Obviously, I want to preserve what I'm doing here. Or like, at least like try, give me a shot, like let me try to carry, but I'm playing fucking support in this one. And don't get me wrong, supports can make a massive difference, but my opponent here is Geb. He's gonna negate everything that I do. So, yeah. But like we have Medusa, we have Susano.
I'm a good watchdog. I'm a good boy.
We have, currently a pretty big Coquelin, all things considered.
Mwah! Compliments to the chef. Shut down.
Attack.
God damn it.
I return to the great sea.
I was waiting for some kind of CC to hit him, and when it did, I was too far away to land my one. I tried anyway and I missed. Unbelievable. I don't know what to build here, to be honest. Probably a breastplate. No, not a breastplate. Maybe Contagion. Contagion might be nice here. Not because they have a bunch of healing, but we do need some kind of anti-healing going into Alquang here with his... never mind, he doesn't have any... okay, never mind. I'm just building Contagion for the damage, I guess, and as well for the slight anti-healing on Shibalonke's lifesteal. That's about it.
I have the nose of a bloodhound.
Spotted. Gank.
The Nene's gonna kill me, dude. Fucking Nene. Dude, this shield. Fuck, man. Does he have a shell? He does have a shell. Did you just take your life with the 2? No, the Nene killed me. The Nene finished me off with its melee attacks. Like a real asshole, to be honest. Kind of ruined the 1v1 here, you know?
Will this make me look like a handsome pupper?
Set up an ambush here.
I need to save my gold now for my starter.
Enemy missed. Great. Just fine.
Your left tower is under attack. Enemies in middle lane.
Yeah, that's why I'm saving my gold for my starter now.
Surging poison.
I'm aware, I just don't. I'm just poor. That's about it. I'm poor as AF.
I'm a good watchdog.
Motherfucker! I was fucking still in my old animation, I felt like, but never mind, I guess. And now he has anti-healing. Right now I need anti-healing, yeah. Actually, now that kind of takes priority, unfortunately. I gotta get my anti-healing on before I get my starter now.
Your middle tower has been destroyed.
The cheap years? Oh shit. I thought they were all expensive. That's crazy. Getting that contagion just for Alquang. At least I'm Cerberus as well, so I've built in anti-healing too. So I just gotta be where Alquang is. I need to try and peel him off, even if it's just being around him.
Enemy team has destroyed the gold.
Fireshine left lane.
Damn it.
Attack fire giant.
Initiate respawn.
Ultimate is ready.
Attack fire giant. Stay here.
Attack fire giant. Ultimate is ready.
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm just getting too poked. The two knockups were definitely my own fault, but I need more magic protection. Didn't have my jump up, I would have died no matter what. Fuck me, dude. I am gonna get Absolution. Even if it's just for the Alquang. Yeah, laserbacks are dumb. That's my own fault. I just didn't think anyone was close, to be honest. Still, on me. Not really any any excuses about it. See if I can make this in time.
I can't believe this.
Damn it, dude. I suck.
Completed. Retreat.
Ally has been slain. Mission team has been tender. Mwah! Compliments to the chef.
I think he's dead. Yeah.
Let's celebrate. Wow. He must have shown
Yeah, Thorns is definitely something. I mean, honestly, we just kind of got outpicked here, to be honest. them having Ao Kuang and Kuzenbo is just... we can't deal with them. Kuzenbo will kill someone while he, like... he does so much damage. Even to me. Dude, and he's all this back up. Unfortunate. Damn, today is not going well, man. A three game lose streak now. What did I ban this game? Oh yeah, I banned Chunga, I think. There's just too many gods that make a massive difference right now in Smite. Like, a good Ao Kuang will completely control the game. That being said, I do think he got too much shit in the beginning. He shouldn't have gotten as much as he did early game. Susanna being lowest damage though is not good either, unfortunately. The 10 I'll probably sub for the last time for some time. Yeah, no worries, Bengas. Like, I don't, like, people shouldn't feel obligated to sub. Like, you're doing it just because you want to support. Like, don't do it for me. I'm always happy for people to sub just if they wanna, I don't know. I mean, as mentioned, streaming is not my job. I don't need the money. I don't. But obviously I'm gonna appreciate if people want to sub. I'll have some, like, okay, buy some extra fun stuff with it. But it's by no means because I need them. So it literally just lets me buy some stuff that I normally wouldn't be able to buy otherwise. Like some fun stuff. Maybe like I do have some, not many, but like a few figurines up there on. I can buy stuff like that. Just fun hobby stuff with that type of money. Maybe I can buy lobster to eat for dinner. Maybe something else. Barracuda for dinner. Is that expensive? I wouldn't even know. I don't eat a whole lot of seafood, to be honest. I probably eat too little. Do again? Fuck. Heard lobster? Yeah, yeah. The man himself. How much do you cost? What costs a dinner with lobster, huh? That's where all the sub money goes. $2? Oh man. that's pretty cheap. I currently have 15 subs. That makes up for that pretty easily. Yeah, I'm not dealing with it again, so get it out. You can't buy people anymore? I mean, you kind of can though. You kind of can. Just not in the same way. But it's true, you don't own people anymore unless it's your children. For a time. That is true. Yeah, buy cheap subs. I'll buy cheap subs. They always ask for cheap subs. They never ask for the expensive subs. I guess that's true. There are expensive subs. You can still buy tier 2 and 3 subs, right? That is still a thing. It's just not really something that matters on my stream, I guess. I don't really have any rewards for it, so I heavily don't, definitely don't recommend doing it. I've been pretty lazy on adding emotes and stuff. I did add some emotes like like a month and a half ago or something, maybe like 2 months at this point. I do want to, but I would have to commission people to make them. And I just don't have any fucking ideas. That's another problem. Not a single thought goes through my brain. I have no ideas. A Vamana emote? I already have a Vamana emote. He's my Pock face. He's also... Like, I have that Vamana face, but I'm at like an actual emote. I have this one. People may not realize it, but this is actually Vamana. He's my Pock face. It doesn't really get used. Yeah, that's Vamana. It's hard to see. I get it, cause you know it's just the face. But like the only thing you see is the you know the gem on his forehead. It's old Vamana, so it's not the new one. That's why it might be harder to see. People don't recognize it anymore because it's the old Vamana. Oh, it was me shaved. Well, the thing is, I'm already shaved. I'm bald. I don't have hair under my cap, guys. It's no illusion. I am bald. Looks like Dio from JoJo's to you. Dio? You thought it was Vamana, but it was me. Dio. Is that the legendary TSM game hunter from my childhood? Dude, you're making me feel old. Why would you put it that way, man? Yes, you're right. That is me. From your childhood. It's okay, you're old too. What do you mean you're old from your childhood? How is it from your childhood if you're old? How could you say this in Lobster's presence? Now you made him... Like, he's 70 years old. You gotta relax. He can't take it much anymore. He's gonna have a heart attack. Oh, you're old now. You're 24? Damn, you're old. God damn. That is crazy how old you are. That must be crazy how being that old, huh? You're young and hip. Yeah, me too. It's lit, fam. I know all the slang words. And I know what they mean too. I almost just went gem of like conduit gem. Probably shouldn't do that as support. When is the Ganesh solo game, huh? Why am I stuck in support? This is bullshit. I hate it. Yeah, for real, for real. Do I just rush shifters? Probably again. I like shifters as support, man. It gives me some damage. I like damage.
Be sure to bring about the peaceful balance. Okay. Greetings. Okay.
Okay.
What does that mean, Bengos? What do you mean by turning into an adult? I feel like that could mean a lot of things. Oh, you're going 30, I see. I don't like thinking about it, but that will be me soon as well. Do I have to do a birthday stream? Shit, I might have to do a birthday stream. My birthday's next month. So it's gonna be after Smite 2 is out. Or like open alpha. I mean, I was in pretty bad shape at launch tournament. I'm in much better shape now than I was then, but I'm still not in good shape. I very much went like this when it comes to good shape, right? I was in really good shape in Torpedo, and then it just went downhill. And now I'm just kind of existing. I need to work out a bit more again, but I need the renovation stuff to still be completely finished.
Be careful, middle. Be careful, middle.
Right, careful, right, careful, right. Minions have spawned.
Attack right leg. Okay.
Well, this is classified as not good.
Ally has been slain.
I did not want to press my thorns, and I just sparked a bad fight for us. I had to save my ADC, assuming he actually survives.
A toast to your good fortune.
When is my birthday? It is the 25th of September. So, almost 2 months away, to be fair. It is not a stretch to say 2 months. But it is next month.
Enemy spotted.
Rest easy, knowing that a paragon watch is over.
Ravishing.
We just gotta get our shit before it's too late.
You think you can adjust? Hostile, your left tower is under attack.
The sixth.
I got one of them, boys. Worth.
I bid you farewell.
I just want another wave. Far back. No, the 25th. Did I say 23rd? That's my bad if I did. 25th. 2-5. What? I was not inside that. Bullshit.
Peace quell you.
He actually caught me. With my dash, that sucks. Literally just caught my dash. I should have just backed. A bit awkward on my side. I was conflicted on what I wanted to do there. And I just ran into 4 people. Like a smart person.
An enemy has been slain.
Excellent work.
Mamma mia, not again! Wow, you must have choking on the meatball.
We got him.
Your left tower is under attack. Your right
Rip deeps.
tower is under attack.
Yeah, I have more kills than assists, it's true. Truly one of the Ganesh games of all time, I say. I did the impossible.
Someone is getting a bit grumpy. Wait, we're only halfway away.
The eye of peace is not blind.
Ultimate is down. That's too bad.
No! Damn it. Bad dash. Bad dash.
Enemy spotted. Spot careful. Enemies incoming. You think you can just pass those? An enemy has been slain.
Could have been a good dash at least.
On my way.
Enemy missing.
The most unfortunate. Be right back.
No, let me make it. Dude, I can't hit my fucking dash. Alright, grab him. That's fine, I'll take that trade. But that's just bad.
Your left tower is under attack.
Kind of a bad ult as well as a missed dash again. I gotta hit my fucking dash. Like, do I put it on instant cast to make it hit easier? Is that it? Do we go instant cast dash? I will fuck it up. I don't think I can actually do that.
Set up an ambush here. Set up an ambush here.
Rest easy, knowing that a paragon watches over. Enemies incoming.
Your left. Wow.
By trapping your
Ally has been slain.
enemy spotted.
Well,
Your right tower is under attack.
I don't know what to do about that.
Compliments to the chef.
So many people everywhere, all the time. Ah, he missed the brutalize. Oh no.
I'm on it.
An enemy has been slain.
Okay.
Your middle tower.
Be at ease.
Your left tower is under attack.
Be right back.
We're very good late game, but it's a bit weird and awkward at the moment, if I do say so myself.
Your left tower has been destroyed. Your structure is under attack.
My Ganesha is also slightly rusty, I would say. It's a bit bad missing the dash too often. But it's also kind of an awkward dash. Like, you don't want to try and range it. You really do want to do it just up close. It's kind of dog shit if you don't.
The eye of peace is not blind. The power of peace quell you.
Ultimate is ready.
The difference in damage is there.
The discourse is of your own making.
I wish I could help, but I used everything to try and help out before. I got it, so I'll still take the trade, but that's fine. Not good overall, though. Because if I was there to try and help and peel, we're just not having it. We just don't have any control. Unfortunately, the jungle diff is it's a bit rough. Again, it's Shukai again, so not a massive surprise, but still. I feel like it shouldn't be this big. Alright, we gotta chase at least one of these kills here. Motherfucker. Of course I wasn't there when Thor landed. Why would I be?
I am ready.
I'm just dead again for someone else's mistakes. Sad support life. Try to peel, die. Because whoever you tried to peel got out. I mean, mission successful, I guess, but dying for it still kind of sucks. I do have a super useless bomb now, though, that I probably won't ever be able to use. Oh, I thought you had another one. Shit. Dude, yeah, this Q is not working, because my junglers just can't deal with Hyokai at the moment, it seems. Like, how did he not die there? I don't understand.
An enemy has been slain. Your structure is under attack.
Ultimate is ready.
Rest easy, knowing that a paragon watches over.
Ultimate is ready.
Fire giant. Has destroyed the pyramids.
Attack.
Enemy ultimate incoming. Enemies in right.
Enemies in the right to ultimate is ready. Right way. Ultimate is
On
ready.
my way.
Ultimate is ready.
Enemy spotted.
Get... Oh my god. My ult didn't reach. I hoped. Classic. I mean... The jungle dip is just a little too hard on this one, unfortunately. I'll grab sprint for this. Defend! I'm gonna save the rest of my gold for my starter. I'm so behind, I'm actually just a snack running around. I'm very easy just to kill too. Being Ganesh. Ganesh from behind is so fucking easy to kill. He's still a great peeler, so that's still something, but... Well, I'm dead. I thought we could kind of fight back here, but cancel that. Never mind. We are behind, I should have just tried to dash out. But even if I did, she dashes after me and still slows me to death. I can't fight back. How old are you? I mean, some people know. For the people that don't know, try and guess. Because you probably can't. Never happens. I mean, we just had a conversation, so I think it might be unfair. Dude, motherfucking Thor was still around? Of course he was, man. Alright. No, dude. Kill him. Oh, he's dead. You guys are right. You guys are almost right, actually. I am 28. Yeah, my BIOS is 28. I probably changed it recently. I must have. I tried to block as much as I could, but I can't obviously block anything, being this far behind. And I just hit 15 so I could finish my starter. Didn't even get to do that. Yeah, I'm 28, I am soon to be 29. Not my 30s just yet. Dude, I might skip a queue, I feel like. This queue is rough. I don't think it's just the queue, but I'm not getting my fucking role, man. I want to play my role. I don't want to play support. I'll give this queue another shot, but I'm on a 4-game lose streak at the moment, and I was so close to fucking Grandmaster. This is so fucking classic. So fucking classic. I even tryharded my first game, and this game couldn't have gone any better for me. I solo killed my opponent as Cthulhu, I believe. Maybe I didn't actually, but I won the lane super hard. But we just didn't have any damage going into late game. At least that's what it felt like in this one. Like their ADCs did almost twice as much as ours did in that game. But whatever. I'm not here to play the blame game, but it does feel bad now that it's four losses in a row. When I feel like I don't have much say in it. Well, I mean, to be fair, we could have probably won the last game. The Separatist game. Yeah, we probably could have won this. But whatever. Yeah, you ready for retirement? I feel like even in Smite 2, I don't know if I'm interested in playing competitive. I'm still debating it in my head. I don't know. A lot of it obviously depends on whether the game even survives. We'll see if Smite 2 even does anything. But I'm not sure. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right, Bengus. The Searcher game, I will partly take blame for the loss of that. Yeah, we absolutely should have won this game. We were right in front of the fountain, and me and Lance were stupid, and we died in the fountain because we got pulled into it because we just ran too close. Could have just attacked the fucking Titan. It was low enough too. We could have just ended this game. You are right. It's sad too. That was kind of a good Searcher game compared to my really bad one yesterday. Actually, guys, do you know what are legacy gems really like? What does this mean? Obviously, I have a lot of legacy gems for Smite 2 here. I think. Am I gonna have that many gems in Smite 2? Like, what does the legacy gems even mean? Like, what does it translate to? As a discount? Huh. I am solo. Yay. If it's just a discount, it's a bit strange, I guess. Alright, Panda. I'll try to remember the names. That's a few people. I'll try and see if I can remember those. Lobby Crashers, there's quite a few of those these days. Unfortunately. I mean, speaking of exactly that, if that doesn't get fixed in Smite 2, Smite 2 won't really get far. King Arthur. What do I want to play into King Arthur, huh? Not really gonna be the most fun matchup. Not Vamana, that's for sure. Possibly Chuck?
your god.
Yeah, I played enough fucking Guardians today. No more Guardians. I'm done.
Shock.
I'll just do a chuck.
It's go time!
I do think my biggest hope for Smite 2 is just that they release gods a bit faster. Because otherwise it's going to take a very long time for people to see new gods. I don't know how they're going to do it. Like maybe they're going to sometimes like throw in a new god. Like maybe they like one person is working on a new god in the back while the majority of people are working on reworking the old ones. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. Because it's going to take a long fucking time, man, to get all the gods in there at the current pace they have. That's my biggest worry at the moment. Because, like, some people who love Smite 1 are literally just sitting and waiting for their favorite god to show up so they can play that. And that god might not be there for a long fucking time. So why would they play Smite 2 when they just want to play the one god they like playing? So I hope it won't take too long. Yeah, there will be more. Yeah, Morrigan is definitely a ballsy move to put early in Smite 2. That's for sure. I did not expect that. That is ballsy. Um. I don't know what to build here. I might want to go an early Contagion, maybe? Contagion wouldn't be bad to start out with here.
I feel no pain.
And it's kind of nice into Arthur with a constant CC. I'll do this. Yeah, I usually do Thorns. It depends on the god, obviously. Like some gods, like if I want Blink as well, I usually go Thorns. Chuck kind of wants Blink quite badly. Yeah, I believe the idea is releasing 3-4 gods, current gods with patches. They might. I feel like that's still just not enough, though. Maybe that's me. Just considering how long. I don't know, maybe it is enough. It depends on when they're planning on releasing Smite 2, I suppose. I mean, Bengas, to be fair, they already have Rangda's Mask. It's basically the no balls item. It's also memed on enough to be the case. Thorns isn't even much of a, no balls situation, because Thorns is just good. It just simply is good. You have a pretty big advantage in the early stages of solo if you have Thorns. For the simple reason that you have better fight potential. Or kill potential. Overall pressure.
Run if you can. Enemies in middle lane. First of
Classic Arthur. Being a real pain in the ass. I need my heal before I can really respond to all the poke. Alright, I'll just have to sit back a bit, with the lands being around as well. I'll grab one word just in case. I don't want Lance being around. I can't fall behind in this matchup. He's just gonna be a bigger bully.
Compliments to the chef. Enemies in right lane. Okay.
On my way! Attack!
60 minutes solars and the game's getting a second because they need teleport.
Out of mana.
I mean, it's very nice to have, and it's very, very convenient. If you use teleport well, you can be somewhere where your lane opponent can if they're running around with thorns. Like, it's very, very, very useful. It's incredibly powerful.
Run if you can.
Like, you don't need anything. But it is very, very, very useful to have. Like, right there. Like, I can do that just because I have thorns. Otherwise, he would have just gotten away. But if I choose the right moment to fight and he's being over-aggressive, thorns will make sure that he dies for it.
I feel no pain.
What I also realized is that he went beats. Which I think is... I mean, it's obviously not a bad idea because he's against Neja. But that also means he doesn't have TP like me. But I have the bigger fight potential because I have thorns. Feels very pressured by the Neja, unless he's doing it for my ult, which I wouldn't at least recommend.
Run if you can.
Bro, what is happening in duo? I just realized. Did he die to the tower? Strange. Aggressive. Oh, Thor's almost got him. Good ult. I'm not sure if Thorns would have finished him off, but I think it would have.
Nothing will stop me.
Okay. Your right tower is under attack.
Yeah, sometimes I do just the like canceling the one, but depends. Depends on what it looks like. Cause you still do damage when you like teleport through things. So I use that just for the wave clear sometimes.
Enemies incoming.
No problem.
Okay. Run if you can. Enemy spotted.
Excuse you.
Get him! Ah, she's here. Damn. I would have chased if Shell didn't show up.
There is no escape.
But it's not really just because of Thorns that he can't box me. It's more like... I mean, there is the fear of not being able to box, but I think this matchup also kind of goes in Chuck's favor once you have a few items online. For the simple reason that Chuck just has a sustain and Arthur doesn't. It's just that.
Run how you can. There is no escape. Run if you can. There is no escape.
Chuck is kind of a good all-rounder at the moment. He's got sustain, decent escapability.
Enemy has been slain.
Very, very good buff clear. And secure, for that matter.
I walk in darkness. There is no escape.
Sorry.
Waste of time. Run.
Well, unfortunate.
There is no escape.
I would generally say that this matchup is just kind of a stalemate. Because I can't really kill him either as Shock, for the simple reason that he has so much anti-slow. You can't lock him down. Motherfucker just keeps dashing around. Unbelievable. Yeah, it doesn't really do any damage to me, this build. Unfortunate. I went for it. I shouldn't have tried to fight back. I should have just backed. I'm legitimately lacking items here. That sucks. I don't even want to call that a solo kill, because that was just me being aggressive. Because I thought I could. I could have. Or I could be. But I overstayed my welcome. Our wave clear, I would say, is about the same. I mean, he still has more stuff to do after he clears the way, whereas I kind of used all I had, or all I have. When he uses 1-1, at least, he still has the dashes and all that bullshit. Like, he generally has better wave clear, but wave clear doesn't really matter much when once you're too tanky to even die, you know? Aw, damn. He's still and snagged it. Like, there's just no way we are gonna kill each other now.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
No, dude, the stun he gets off every time. Every single time. This man has too much to work with. I'm falling behind in XP because someone keeps trying to steal my blue buff.
Run if you can. Take more than that to stop me.
I'll just upgrade this now. I saw a lance, so I'm just getting the fuck out of there. I'll be down to clear the way with my ult, but with the lance there, I'm dead. And he's only level 12. I don't want to give him the chance to come back into this. He's 4 levels down. Hey, Gapu, what's up, man? Good to see you, man.
There is no escape. I walk in darkness.
I don't actually even want to do this. We don't do any fucking damage. Damn raid bosses.
Enemy missing left.
Enemy missing right! Enemy missing right!
Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted. Enemy spotted.
Come here. No, my kill. If 1 more second, and I would have had her.
Be revealed!
Oh, okay. Okay. Ho Yi at a annoying time. Whatever. I'll take the death. We still got the kill. Let me grab some magic defense.
Mamma mia, not again! Be right back.
Hu Yi is gonna be annoying to deal with as shock. Hu Yi still has one of the best jumps in the game. It's so fast. If his jump is up, I can't really ever ult him. It's just gonna be a waste.
There is no escape. Run if you can. Let the night fall.
Your right tower is under attack.
There is no escape. Run. Run if you can. Enemy missing left. I walk in.
An enemy has been slain.
There is no escape.
We're gonna be in here forever. One of us gotta yield.
Run if you can. There is no escape.
Compliments to the ship.
Enemy missing left. Enemy
Destroy the middle enemy tower.
I don't really need to do anything this game anyway. They're winning in mid.
Run. Run. There is no escape. Let the night fall.
An enemy has been slain. Yo! Don't come back again! Attack! Attack! The fresh meat has been tenderized.
Darkness.
An enemy has been slain.
Again.
Not my
Joker on the meat.
Kill him. Alright.
There is no escape.
I'm getting out then.
Wicked. waste of time.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
I walk in darkness.
I want to see if I can get 20 before I'm back here. So I can finish my starter.
Run, you can. There's no escape. Run. Run if you can. There's no escape. Run. I feel no pain.
Didn't even get to finish any of my starter items, man. Oh well. At least it was a win. Finally. Today has not been an easy win day. 4 losses in a row until I got my first win. But yeah, I did actually start quite a bit earlier today. And considering the patch is coming out tomorrow, and I will definitely stream tomorrow as a result, I think this is where I will be ending it. The games today also in matchmaking, as Student just said as well in the lobby here, matchmaking has been very fucking weird. It's been very, very one-sided almost every single game. Where there's clearly one person who is just overperforming the opponent, you know? So I think I will just I'll listen to my conscience here and just end it, because I'll be back tomorrow. Start to boost the players at the moment. It does feel that way. Dude, I was so close. As you can see in my title, there was a chance for me to hit Grandmaster today, but I had 4 losses in a row. So never mind. False alarm. False alarm, guys. I was too close to the sun and I got burned. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching as always. I really fucking appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow for patch day, especially because of mana buff, right? Especially because of the mana. I'll see you guys then. Bye!